Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your preview and latest news for Manchester United against Aston Villa. I'm still feeling raspy. We'll battle through. Thanks to Adam covering the morning show this morning. But lots to talk about. Gerrard says he's going to put a strong team out. Rangnick says he's going to put a strong team out. We've got key injury news. We've got the update on Paul Pogba. There's loads to discuss in relation to Manchester United and some transfer theory as well as this story about Pochettino. So, look, I think the thing for me is he's got to make changes, but Rangnick himself has said he's not going to make too many changes. So what changes will he make? We'll be talking about that. But first of all, as you know, on the preview, we are sponsored by Ultimate Fan, and I will get it up on the screen for you now. There it is. Go on, click there. There we go. So what is Ultimate Fan? People often ask when I say we're sponsored by Ultimate Fan today. It's an app. It's a fantasy football game with a twist. Imagine fantasy football combined with super cool pack openings. The game is super simple to play. All you've got to do is be over 18 and download the app which is totally free using the link in the description. Follow the sign-up system and then you'll be able to start opening packs and filling in your team for this coming weekend. And as I said, it's free to play if you're over 18. And you do get free packs to open to build your team to score points. There's also Ultimate Fan Plus for you to explore, where you can buy extra packs if you want to, gold and silver packs, where you can get extra cards, exclusive content and much more. Now the rub is that each week there are prizes available for the teams that get the most points. So this week's prize is 8,500 and that happens every week. So you open your packs, you build a team, they acquire points based on their performance, and then you will pick up. And obviously it's not 11 players in this. There's a lot less players in your team, so you've got more chance of getting points. As always, if you want to check out my team, we've posted a pic on the United Stand Twitter at United Stand MUFC. And if you head over there, make sure to drop your screenshots of your team in the comments for us to check out. It's very competitive. A lot of people really enjoy playing it. If you want to take part in this awesome week's game or any future games, then hit the link in the description below and you can start playing Ultimate Fan today for free. Thanks again to Ultimate Fan for supporting the United Stand, and now we can move on with the rest of the show. But as I said, free to play, you must be over 18, get involved, 8,500 in cash prizes available, compete against each other, play against your friends, a good bit of fun. Thank you very much to Ultimate Fan. Well, I'll tell you what won't be a bit of fun. Monday night won't be fun. I'm excited about it, but it will not be fun. Because if we lose this game, or we don't play well in this game, the pressure's on, the heat is rising. Now, let's look at what Ralph Rangnick has said, first of all, about this game. I want to talk about Pogba, but obviously I know Adam spoke about Pogba this morning. Ultimately, I expected Paul Pogba, I don't know about you, I expected Paul Pogba to be back in the next week or two. Apparently, he's another 4 weeks, at least, away. So we're now looking at whether he'll actually be back for the game, sort of Atletico Madrid in February. But you know what? Is this not another reason to buy a midfielder? We heard last week, I think, from The Athletic that United are not going to buy players unless something big happens around injury. Our midfield is non-existent. Our manager yesterday said he hasn't got a midfield, and now he hasn't got Pogba for another month. Some people are saying, well, Pogba's running his contract down, he doesn't want to play. Maybe that's true. I think it's unfair, but it's certainly whatever's going on, whether it's genuine or not. He's been out for a very long time now, and when he comes back, there's not going to be much of the season left. So we need to be building for the future. I mean, logically, if Paul Pogba comes back in the middle of February, that gives us, 3 months before he leaves? We've got to be looking beyond Pogba now, and that's what the January transfer window should be about. But what did Rangnick say about this game in itself? He said, well, first of all, he said about Pogba, right now, he's been part of the training group. Even if he was back, he's not part of the training group. And even if he was, it'd be 2, 3 or 4 weeks until he'll be ready to play. He says, we'll try and play the best team possible against Aston Villa with a strong team. We'll definitely not play with 8 or 9 different players, or even 10, as we did against Young Boys in the Champions League. There might be a few changes, but I haven't taken the final decisions yet myself. We'll definitely try to play this game as if it was a normal Premier League game or a Champions League game. He then goes on to say, with Harry Maguire, there is still a question mark, but Lindelof will be available for the game. Harry hasn't been able to train as yet, and we have to wait and see. Well, where's Harry, I suppose? A few people on social media, I think unfairly, I don't know what you think, but a few people on social media have been saying, where is Harry Maguire? Not even in relation to his playing. He's the captain of the club. There is very clear division. The manager basically confirmed that yesterday. Fred's come out and said something about it. Why hasn't Harry Maguire as captain of the club come out? But you know what? I think that's unfair. I'm not going to talk about this for long, but I think it's unfair. You cannot say that Harry Maguire shouldn't be the captain and then start saying, well, where is he? Like, for me, he shouldn't be the captain. It doesn't surprise me that he's not come out with any statement this week. He probably will do at some point, but I'm not going to judge him on it because it just seems to me that society is very much like this. You know, you don't like something, but that you spend all your time telling everybody how much that you don't like it and why that they should be doing this, that. I don't like Harry Maguire as captain. So when he doesn't act like a captain, it doesn't surprise me. So I don't see why people are going, well, Harry Maguire should have come out and done this. Well, that's behaving like a captain. And if he does it now, is he going to do it because people are saying, why haven't you done it? Ultimately, Harry Maguire needs to focus on being a Manchester United centre-back. That's what I'm interested in. And personally, I wouldn't play him on Monday anyway. You've got Phil Jones. I mean, look, let's start off with that team on the left. Now, Steven Gerrard has, and I'm going to talk about Pogba, Pochettino, transfers in a moment, but let's just talk about the game against Villa on Monday night. Now, I don't like the FA Cup much. I really don't. I'm not excited by the romance of the FA Cup. I used to be, but I'm not getting excited about bloody Millwall playing Palace or Newcastle playing Cambridge or Man City stuffing Swindon. It's not the only thing that's exciting is Manchester United playing and the fact that we're playing Villa, who are going to take it very seriously. Just a reminder, actually, if 3 o'clock today, I'm going to be live on Twitch, basically straight after this, playing an interactive game of FIFA. Basically, it's called Foot Draft. So you help me pick the team, and then I play against online players. It's something I normally do on the charity stream, and it's really interactive. So if you want to join me for that after this, Goldbridge TV on Twitch. It's a bit of a loose end this afternoon because I ain't watching FA Cup football. But basically, I will be watching Man United against Villa because Gerrard has come out and said he's going to pick a strong team. I worry about this game. Again, a very short summary. Gerrard's been at Villa for 2 months. Every game they've played, and I know a lot of Villa fans anyway, but I know this from what I've seen anyway, they've been very competitive in every game they've played. Even the games they lose, it tends to be quite a tight game. I think they've only lost by 2 goals once under Gerrard, and that was Chelsea. Man City, Anfield, they didn't embarrass themselves. Yeah, they've lost their last 2. They've lost to Brentford and Chelsea, but what worries me about Villa is I look at that midfield and you see Louise and McGinn. That was what Maguire and Varane were meant to be. More like Skoda. Actually, Skoda's not a bad brand now. Lada. Anyway, so what worries me about Villa is he will play a strong team. I think Mings and Watkins are back from injury. Coutinho probably won't play. He will play in the game against them in the league the following Saturday at Villa Park. But they've still got a very, very, very strong team. And I think that they will... What worries me about this straight away is every game, whether it's Norwich or Newcastle or Man City, the midfield. We lose games and we play badly because we don't win the games. And anyone who's saying that Dullo is Portuguese, you've been had. I can't believe people are still falling for the English thing. We're not going to change it because it's the United stand and we like a little bit of banter. And I like seeing people in the chat expose themselves as idiots going, Dullo's Portuguese. Do you really think I think he's English? It was a mistake on the edits on the opening game of the season, and I've just said keep it in there because I love winding people up. So, back to reality. There goes gravity. Midfield. This is what worries me about Villa. They will be combative in the midfield. They've also got fairly decent players, so I think we're in for a difficult game on Monday night. And how Rangnick lines us up against them is going to be really interesting. I think Villa's going to be a really difficult game, not only on Monday, but away in the league as well. There's nowhere to hide in these next 2 games against Villa. It's Gerrard. He hates United. No problem with that. Liverpool United rivalry is really important. United fans don't like Gerrard. It's going to be a bit of a, the atmosphere will be big on Monday night at Old Trafford and at Villa Park. So the fans will be ready. Gerrard will be ready. Will United be ready? And that's the big question, because I don't think we need to talk about Villa much. They're very competitive. They're very focused. And they're a good side. And they will bring all that on Monday and next Saturday. You don't need to say anything more than that. Villa are more than capable of beating us. They're probably more ambitious. They've probably got better owners than us. And in the next 2 years, if we keep going the way we're going, I think Villa will be finishing above us in 2 years' time. So we've got to take this game very, very seriously. I think that's why Rangnick has said he won't be making many changes. Which is when I move to this screen, this is how I think he will line up. I'll be surprised if I get 11 right, but I think he will line up like this. Now, I would not play Dean Henderson in goal. But he will. Because it's the FA Cup and Dean Henderson's been moaning about game time. And to be fair, if you're going to play him, it's the only tournament you can play him in. So I think he will play him. I wouldn't play him. There is too much noise around Dean Henderson in recent times, around leaks and negativity. I just don't think after the week we've had, anybody involved in any types of league in the last few months should be involved in this game. And we know categorically, after what Rangnick said about David De Gea yesterday, that he really values him as a leader. This is a game where we need to respond. This is a game where we need a leader. And that is why I wouldn't play Dean Henderson. Yeah, look, maybe he's been leaking stuff. Maybe he wants to leave. If that's true, he shouldn't start anyway. But the big reason I wouldn't start him is that quite clearly David De Gea is one of the biggest leaders in that dressing room at the moment and on the pitch. And we can't afford to take somebody like that out the team when we don't have many others to do it. So David De Gea starts this game, not because I don't think Dean deserves a start. Mate, it's the FA Cup. You should make changes. But we desperately need that leadership of David De Gea. That is why I would start him. But I think he will start Henderson. Dalot comes in at right back. Look, that's an obvious change. I think Dalot, Wan-Bissaka against Wolves. Some people think Dalot should have started. I certainly don't think Dalot deserves to go back to being hardly ever playing. I would start Dalot in this game. Luke Shaw and Telles, the same reason. I think Telles, again, deserves game time. I think it's close between him and Shaw. I prefer Shaw to Telles, but again, in a game like this, I think Telles probably does deserve to start, although I wouldn't be surprised if he starts Shaw. Centre-backs, I think Phil Jones is really unlucky, because what you could do is you could take Varane out and you could put Phil Jones in, and I wouldn't have a massive problem with it. But I think if you play Phil Jones and Lindelof, all right, Phil Jones played well against Wolves, but Phil Jones, Varane and Lindelof, we want to win the game. So I totally agree with why people are saying Phil Jones should start, but we need to give Lindelof game time because, and I'll explain why. I've got no problem if you want to go with Phil Jones and Varane, but I've got two reasons why I would go with Lindelof and Varane. One, I think they're the better pairing. Two, Jones can play in the Premier League game if you want him to. And three, long term, Phil Jones will either lose form or get injured, and then Harry Maguire comes back into the team. What I want to see, in the absence of Bailly, I would like to see Lindelof and Varane play together, play well, and then become our centre-back partnership. I don't want to see Maguire playing. And I think if Jones plays on Monday, Maguire will be back for the Villa Premier League game. And he shouldn't be walking into that team. I'm not talking about captaincy, I'm talking about form. So I would like to see Lindelof and Varane playing, because I think that they potentially could be our long-term centre-back partnership for the rest of the season. Score mark and first to score for United is Apollo. Well, let me just get through the team and then I'll give him a score prediction. Personally, it's very evident that regardless of the personnel, if Rangnick sticks with 4-2-2-2, we'll continue to struggle and lose games. Well, look, I've just put it how I think he will go. I personally would go to a 4-2-3-1. My midfield two would be Fred and Donny, because I thought Matic and McTominay were abysmal against Wolves, absolutely crap. So they don't deserve to start the game, and I think Donny deserves a start, and Fred didn't play in the last game, so I would go with Fred and Donny in the midfield too. Bruno and Sancho have to play. I mean, I know people like Lingard want game time, but again, it's the same as Dean Henderson for me. You're a player that's been linked with leaving, you're a player that's been linked with being unhappy, and I can't risk that in a game we need to win. And I think Bruno only played half a game, having been suspended previously before the Wolves game, so he's fresh. Bruno's got to play. Sancho needs more game time. I'd play him. And then Cavani and Ronaldo up front. So it's a very, very strong team, but you still get to start Dalot, Telles, Donny. And I think that's the three changes he should make. I mean, he may go with the Henderson as well. I wouldn't do that. Guys, please, if Dalot was really English, he'd be 100 million generational talents as infinite. And Maguire is a budget Phil Jones. Let's be honest, Jones played better than Maguire has for a good minute, and he actually loves the badge, says Butterpants. Look, I'm loving the Phil Jones love at the moment. I think it's great to see the fan base, unite behind somebody. I've always said about Phil Jones, I think he's a bit of a comedy act, but he's our comedy act, and there's a lot of affection attached to him. But in all honesty, look, the fact that he's back, the fact that he's, he played well on Monday night is fantastic, but I didn't just think he was injury prone. I actually don't think he's that good. So look, I don't. Whilst this goes on, great, but long term, seriously, long term, there's nothing in this. He's 29. He's had so many injuries. He's made so many mistakes. Long term, there's nothing in it. But short term, if people want it to carry on, I ain't got a problem with that. But I would be looking longer term, and I think Lindelof and Varane, or Bay and Varane are the two that I would see as a possible long-term partnership. So I would play Lindelof and Varane. Score prediction, I'm going to go... you know what? I think it'll be tight. I really do. It's so hard to predict United at the moment, isn't it? Because, you know, I've predicted we'll beat Norwich 3-0. We'll go and beat Newcastle 3-0. And we're just incapable of that. We're so inconsistent. And you know what? If he picks McTominay and Fred or McTominay and Matic, we probably lose the midfield battle again. So it all depends about what his midfield is. If he goes with Fred and Donny, I think we can be competitive in the midfield. We could still lose the battle though, because ultimately Fred's still massively inconsistent, and I think Villa worry me in the midfield. So I would say this game will be won 2-1. We don't get replays, do we, anymore? That's a good one for the chat. Do we get replays anymore? I don't think we do. So I would say 2-1, and I will go 2-1 to United. I think we will win this game, but. Yeah, we need to see a response. I suppose that's the only sort of optimism I have, is that I think we have to see a response. I think there's an interesting dynamic at training this week as well, because Harry Maguire's not been in training. Now, he is the captain of the team, whether people like it or not. So he's not been training with the team. And, you know, I saw some of the pictures yesterday. I saw Ronaldo with Delo and Tellez, you know, Bruno, Tomini, you know, they all looked quite focused, and I thought, well, look, Harry Maguire's not there, and that doesn't mean Harry Maguire's a problem, but what it does mean is that the captain's not there, and the camaraderie still looks quite good, and it might just be a little bit of there might just be a different feel in the squad. So, and that's nothing. I've got no problem with Harry Maguire, actually. You know, when he comes back, I'm sure that everything will be fine, but I don't think it will do them any harm to have a little bit of a different sort of leadership. And I think that's what we need. We do need that. So, as I said, I think Harry Maguire should be under a lot of pressure for his starting place, and therefore, you know, who the captain should be. You know what? I don't mind Ronaldo. Who do you think should be the captain? I don't mind Ronaldo having the captaincy, but I personally think it should be David De Gea. Like, I'm never a big fan of goalkeepers having the captain's armband, but it's very clear that he's the best player this season, and his leadership has been fantastic. So I probably would give it to David De Gea, but I imagine it would be it still would be Ronaldo. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But what isn't in doubt is that Villa are going to pick a strong team, and I think we have to pick a strong team as well. And we've got to give it we've got to respond. And I like what Rangnick said about, we need to treat this like a Premier League or Champions League game, because actually, if he did make 5 or 6 changes and then we win the game, you're not going to keep them same players in for the Saturday game. And I think we need to pick a team that's, majority of it will then play at Villa Park, because it's quite a big gap, Monday night to Saturday evening. That's a big gap. It's not like playing Wednesday night and Saturday lunchtime. So a lot of these players, if they play well on Monday, should then be playing on the Saturday to keep some momentum. And as I said last night, I think he needs to make 3 or 4 changes to that team, to his first team anyway. So I don't really see this game in the cup against Villa as a reserve team or some first teamers with reserves. I think it's an opportunity for whoever comes in to really stake a claim. And for example, if Donny van der Beek starts, and he has to start this game, it doesn't mean he will, but for me, he has to start this game. If Donny van der Beek starts in this game and he plays well, then he should start in the next game. That's basically what I'm talking about. Very Man United like to make Delo English just because he's playing well. Check the flag on him. Oh God, we've even had somebody do a super chat. I feel sorry for them. They've even paid to make themselves look a prat there, Alistair. It's done on purpose, Alistair. We know he's Portuguese. No one wants Jones to be here long term, but the fans have realised that a lot of the players are stealing a living. Hence, the first priority should be winning the fans back again. Hence, the love for Jones, says Kamath Fitness. Well, look, I haven't got a problem with that, Shiraz, and I think it's nice to see. But I have standards as well, and I'm not going to let emotion... I'm not big into, he runs through brick walls, because I grew up on players who did that, but they were good footballers. I think some of our fans at the moment would you know, if McTominay played well on Monday night and made a few tackles, people would be like, my goat, you know. And I'm like, this is the mistake we've made for 8 years. We've been valuing when somebody tries because so many people don't try. But actually, even the people who try aren't good enough. We need to move away from, oh my God, did you see his last ditch trying effort? Like Man City players try and do last ditch tackles, and they do it. But they're also good players. We're going to continue to fail if we keep championing people who try hard, because that should be coming as standard. And the problem is, and the reason fans do champion the people who try hard, is because ultimately there's a lot of them that don't try at all. So we need to rebuild that squad. Everybody should try hard, and then everybody should be talented. But it's going to be a long way back, as I've discussed before. Talking about long ways back, let's just have a quick talk about some topical stuff. As we know, Paul Pogba's going to be out until mid-February. I'm really disappointed by this. There is a bit of a silver lining if the club choose to take it, and they should be taking it anyway. Look, we should be buying a midfielder in January. Somebody was in the chat, and it's been mentioned before, that Villa are looking at Bissouma. Now, why are Aston Villa looking at buying Brighton's best player in January when Brighton are doing really well? How is that even possible? Well, it's possible because Villa are a well-run club who are aggressive in being successful. If that's Man United, they might want Bissouma, but they're not going to do it. Oh, you can't do it in January. Brighton don't want to sell. We don't want to do that. We'll wait till the summer. And there endeth the lesson. You've got a team like Villa that's aggressively trying to improve today, and you've got a team like United that's passively trying to improve tomorrow. We need a midfielder in January. I'm worried about Arsenal now. If they add a striker in, and they're in for Vlahovic and they're linked to Isaac, and there's still a long way to go in this January transfer window, 3 weeks in fact, if they get a striker on top of a team that's already better than ours, I think it's curtains to top 4. So we have to buy a midfielder. The fact that Paul Pogba's out for another month, I mean, I'm already 100% sure that we need to buy a midfielder. I'm now 1,000% sure. If Pogba's not back for another month, we need a midfielder. We need a midfielder right now. I have standards too. Fergie always considered talent, but the final factor was character. No, it wasn't. Butterpants. Sorry. Thanks for the super chat. No, it wasn't. The final factor under Sir Alex Ferguson was not trying hard. We didn't win titles because we tried hard. We won titles because of talent. Otherwise, he would have just gone bought a load of Stockport players. I do get it. I understand it. But I think some of our fans overvalue trying hard. I mean, look, if you don't want to listen to me, listen to people like Roy Keane. I've heard him say it. I've heard Gary Neville said it. Paul Ince has said it on this channel. Why do people value players who try hard? It's not about trying hard. When you put that United shirt on, you automatically should try hard. It's like a fresh battery. You should run and run and run for 90 minutes. Sir Alex Ferguson did not prioritise trying hard. He prioritised talent. And that's what you need. You need to buy talented players who, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, greatest players of our generation. But they're not there just because they're good. They're there because they try hard anyway. They've tried hard all their career. You need talent to go with trying hard. That's the priority. Otherwise, we may as well go and buy midfield from Swindon because they tried hard last night, but they're shit. Jones is Premier League winner standard. Maguire is 4 times relegated standard, says Andre. The Jones-Maguire debate rages on. But yeah, Pogba being out for another month is disappointing because, look, whatever you think, he's better than Matic, he's better than McTominay, he's better than Fred. He's a Man United player for now, and I expected him to be bad. I expected him to be back. Sud says, I feel it's a bit of both. But you're not listening to what I'm saying, Sud. I can't explain my point if you don't listen to what I'm saying. I've got people telling me trying hard is a valuable asset. You're not listening. So you know when you get your FIFA card and it says pace, passing, shooting, does it have try hard? There's a reason it doesn't have try hard, because it shouldn't even be a discussion. The fact, and this is where you're making a mistake. If you are valuing players because they try hard, that is why this club fails. Because you shouldn't. It shouldn't even be a consideration, because it should come as standard. And that's why it's not on a FIFA card. Trying hard. These players are on tens of hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, and you're telling me we should be valuing their effort. Do you realise how silly that sounds? Like, it's not a trait. And it certainly should not be a trait That's the sort of thing I'd expect if I turned up tomorrow to a Sunday morning pub team. Oh, can you try hard? Well, I had about 10 pints last night. I might only last half an hour. This is Premier League football. Premier League footballers on massive amounts of money putting on one of the most famous shirts. And you're telling me that trying hard's there with talent? Wash your mouth out. Absolutely ridiculous. That's how low your standards are then. Well done, Manchester United players. You've even got our fans championing trying hard now. It's now FIFA. Can you put a new attribute part on your player cards, please? Specifically for United, trying hard. Yeah? And we can rank all our players on how much they try out of 100. What a stupid thing to say. Every footballer who puts a Man United shirt on doesn't need a try-hard attribute. It should be 100% every game. The problem is, it isn't. And you've fallen into the trap of championing players who do. When the reality is, the people who don't shouldn't even be here. And every single player in a Man United shirt should try hard. So why'd Pogba go for a free if character wasn't a factor? Trying hard isn't the same thing as character. McTominay tries hard and lacks character. No, he doesn't. Butterpants, I'm not... Why are you trying to ruin a show that's a preview? Why are you trying to break down trying hard to character? I've never heard such bullshit in all my life. So try hard. He's giving us... He wants FIFA. Can we have 2 attributes now? Butterpants wants try hard there with pace, shooting and passing. And also character. He wants to add... What else are we going to add? Hairstyle. Deodorant. Oh, he smells nice. I mean, I've never heard such bullshit in all my life. God... Is this how far we're falling as a fan base, that we're now breaking down trying hard as an attribute in whether you think a player should play for Manchester United? For God's sake, I crave the day where we analyse a player on their passing ability, their ability to break the line and assist and score and tackle. Trying hard. Oh my bloody God. I tell you what. To be fair to Butterpants, it's a reflection on where we are as a football club, isn't it? This is the avenue the football club's sending us down. Here we go. Look, Butterpants, I would stop spending money because you've now exposed yourself as a complete and utter bitter person. He says, you haven't played football at a high level and it shows. I love you, Mark, but my God, you've never managed people in any situation or kicked a ball. Mate, I had trials when I was 16. I won loads of trophies when I was 16. I've managed and coached, football and not. You're now trying to win a point, like these idiots on Twitter do, by making up lies because you've just lost. Let's move on. Lying about somebody to try and win an argument, you just lost. Hold that. It's an L. You can't lie about people to win your argument. You can't start saying things about their private life that didn't happen, because it didn't happen. So you've lost. I suggest you get in your garden and try hard to cut your grass because it's raining. But you've got 100% try hard, Butterpants, so I believe in you. Show a bit of character as well, and maybe do your hair. Joking aside, we went way off tangent there. Welcome to the United Stand, where anything can happen in a live show. But I've completely lost where we were. Pogba. So Paul Pogba... I'm gutted that Paul Pogba's not fit. I really am gutted that he's not fit, because look, is there anybody in the chat, if I said to you, ta-da! Paul Pogba's on the show. He danced in behind me and goes, I'm back, baby, I'm back. I'd be really happy. I'd give him a high five. I would have Paul Pogba back on Monday like that. And I'd be surprised if anyone doesn't agree with me, because if I could drop Paul Pogba into that midfield, I'm doing it. So I'm disappointed that he's not back in a month, for another month. Look, I could spend time talking about what is this injury. When did he actually get injured? Because he played against Leicester. And he got sent off against Liverpool. Did he play after that? Or did he get injured? How did he get injured? Did he play? Liverpool must have been his last game, because he would have been suspended then. And he's not played since Liverpool. So I don't know how he got his injury. I don't know what the injury is. But Liverpool was at the end of October. So it's 3.5 months. Safe says, any other job you ain't good enough, you're fired. Chris says, let it go, Butterball. Trying hard, character are basic standards of any pro athlete. Yeah. Took too much butter in his pants, as LJ. No, look, respect to Butter Pants, but he lost me. We were having a good debate, and then he lost me when he started making up lies about people's personal life, which is just not going to work. He did it in training for France. Okay, thank you very much. It's so long ago, and it's a hamstring. I mean, a hamstring shouldn't take 3.5 months, should it? But look, the positive I would take, if there is any positive, is that if he's out for another month, which the club already know and would know before we knew today, they've got to buy a midfielder. You know, even if he comes back, he's going to go in May by all accounts. So we need to buy a midfielder, don't we? But yeah, it's a sobering thought to realise we've got another month of Matic, McTominay and Fred. It really is. Brad says this effort nonsense stems from Ollie talking nonsense about DNA and passion. That is one of the biggest problems Ollie caused, says Brad Lewis. Yeah, but you know what? In fairness to Ollie, even yesterday, the words of Ralph Rangnick, passion, emotion, intensity. I don't think, if Ralph Rangnick's saying it, look, it's easy to take the piss out of Ollie, he's been sacked, but maybe Ollie was saying it, and maybe Rangnick's saying passion, emotion, intensity, passion, desire and trust, which was Ollie's 3. Passion's a resonating word across both of them. We've had loads of leaks, loads of players unhappy this week. 2 managers have spoken about passion very clearly, and I don't think anyone is disagreeing on this. Those players don't try hard enough. So therefore, where Butter Pants is probably coming from, I can't believe we'll be talking about Butter Pants, is that he's maybe got lost a little bit in the fact that our players don't try hard. So when Phil Jones comes in the team, we like it because he tries hard. But instead of holding Phil Jones up on a statue because he tries hard, we should have 11 players playing to that level of effort every game like every other club does. Unfortunately, we've accumulated a collection of players who are on ridiculous money, who think they're better than they are and don't try hard. Those players who don't try hard wouldn't make it to Everton. Why are they at Manchester United? And this is a sad indictment on the way United have recruited over the last 8 years. That we've collected not 1 or 2, but probably 7, 8, 9, 10 players who are here and don't even understand what they're meant to be doing at this football club. Either they can't do it or they don't want to do it. And that's appalling. It is appalling because it's very clear when you listen to what Ollie was on about and what Rangnick is on about, that there is an issue around those players. And look, listen to what Rangnick said yesterday when he asked about whether these players are buying into his philosophy, and he said, "Well, they're listening." That's not good, is it? They're listening, you know. How likely do you think it is that Donny will play? Because we expected him to play games over and over again. I mean, look, Greg, Donny probably won't start on Monday. I just believe he should start. For a million reasons he should start. You know, none more bigger than the fact that Matic and McTominay were crap against Wolves. And at some point, when people are playing badly, you've got to give somebody a chance. And he's never really been given a chance. And you can't say, well, he doesn't deserve a chance because he's not being that great in training. We've watched midfielders play trash and get dominated by Norwich and Newcastle and every other bloody team this season. You've got to give... jokes aside, I'd give Lindelof a go in the midfield at the moment. And I know that's always been a bit of a banter line across the community for a long time. I think Lindelof would be good at CDM and it always winds me up. Right here, right now, I would give Lindelof a go in midfield because they can't be any bloody worse than what we've been using. So for me, Donny has to start because the people he's replacing have been so bad and he deserves a chance. United has a real problem this season, Mark. I legitimately cannot remember the last time Man United bossed the midfield. Imagine that. Says African Giant. I think the last time we bossed the midfield was when we pulled Bruno into the midfield and we played Spurs away. But that was Nuno. That was the last time I remember. Butterpants has apologised. I shouldn't have attacked you personally. We're in the situation you need character around most others, sadly. Yeah, and you're right. And I'm glad. You see, this is what I love about this community is that it doesn't need to get personal because people can have different opinions and we can just debate it. So I appreciate that. You are right, and I just said that. The reason people are loving Phil Jones at the moment is because of his character, determination and focus. And it stands out like a sore thumb. But it shouldn't. We should be judging Phil Jones on whether he's good enough to play for Man United, but we're not. We're judging him on the fact that he had one good game and he showed focus and effort when so many around him didn't. We're getting drawn into something that we should never be getting drawn into. We should never be talking about players' effort levels, and we are. But we know why we are, because those players are a shower of shit. And they're not all, but I've said this before. If you are a player and you heard that and you're offended, I'm sorry. If you're in a dressing room and there's a load of shit in it, you're all going to smell of it. And you know, David De Gea clearly has behaved impeccably, and Rangnick has said that publicly. But David De Gea is still doused in shit because he's in that dressing room, and it impacts on all of them. Just seen something on Twitter saying it's Maguire leading the revolt against Ronaldo because he's calling people out on their standards, says Dan. Well, you know, Twitter's full of twats, really. So, you know, unless it's coming from anybody credible, I wouldn't do anything or say anything about that. Mark, I think the hunger is gone when they receive that fat check. They think they've made it and the hunger is gone. Blame it on the wages, says Tito. We overpay, and we have overpaid for a long time. The reason there is so much aggression with the fans now is we're also effed off with the dross. This team is serving up and we have all had enough, says Brad. Yeah, but you know what? We don't need to take it out on each other. I love when people disagree on in the shows, and it happened over Christmas. We had a great show where there was loads of disagreement and he got very passionate, and I don't mind that. It's great to have different opinions, but I don't like it when it gets personal. There's no need. It's football. It's always about the football, and we don't need to fall out or get aggressive. And that's why I don't like Twitter, because people think they can type what they bloody well like, and at the end of the day, we're talking about football anyway. How many incoming players do you think are needed, says Huntley? Right here, right now, and it will change. But I want a top class centre back to play with Varane. We probably need another right back potentially. Definitely need two midfielders. And we're going to need a striker. I think we're going to need a striker. But it's very difficult, because are we going to go back to playing with wingers? In which case we might need a winger. I personally would love to see Ahmad playing on Monday night, by the way. I think Ahmad's probably our best winger. Out and out winger. I think Ahmad and Sancho are our best two wingers. And I just don't think there's a path to the first team for Ahmad at the moment. Maybe because of injury. But, you know, we've got to solve the Rashford problem. You know, I did a video on That's Football today about Rashford. It's well worth a watch, actually. We've got to solve that Rashford problem. It's our problem to solve. And people who say you'll just sell him, that's not really an option. We've got to put the work in with Rashford between now and the summer, because if we don't, and it continues like this, we've got a problem. And we need to solve the Rashford problem big time. Anyway, look, I'm going to be on Twitch, Goldbridge TV. I've dropped the link in the video description. I'm going to be there in 5 minutes, so tune in for that. It's very interactive. It's called a FIFA draft. So we pick the team together and then we play people online, and then we'll be keeping an eye on the football. Remember when we were linked to Trippier and now he's at Newcastle? I don't want Trippier, Adam. I can't use that as a negative, because I never wanted Trippier. I'm over the moon he's gone to Newcastle. He's gone to Newcastle. Like, that's the hint. Trippier's gone to Newcastle. He's not been headhunted by Man City or Liverpool or Chelsea. He's gone to Newcastle. There's the hint. We never should have been in for Trippier. He ain't good enough to play for a top 4 team. He's gone to Newcastle for the dollar. Fair play to him. Well done. He's not in the top 5 right backs in England. So I'm well happy that we've avoided Trippier. If the biggest transfer for United is the summer, why are we not looking at loaning a player with option to buy? As there are options to buy. Apollo, very good point. Make sure you check out Ultimate Fan. Links in the video description. Free to play if you're over 18. Get your points. £8,500 cash prize pool. Give it a go. Big shout out to Ultimate Fan. I'm going to be on... I'll tweet it out off Mark Goldbridge anyway. But the link's in the video description for the Twitch channel. If you click that and give me a follow, you'll get a notification when we go live. But I'll be live in about 5 minutes. I'll see you over there. Shout out to Butterpants. And hey, Mark, Arsenal officially bidded for a 20-year-old CDM from Brazil and looking for one more. Your thoughts, says Adnan. Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, Spurs, they're acting like clubs that want to grow. We're acting like a club that wants to grow its bank balance. What's changed? Thanks for watching. I'll see you on Twitch in a bit. 8 o'clock tonight on here as well.